year last year. It was a pretty hard year for my husband over here, Jamie, and I. So in the winter of 2017, I started becoming really sick. I was coughing, I couldn't breathe, I had really low energy, and severe weight loss. When I say severe weight loss, I mean I was 25 pounds underweight. Did not know what was wrong with me. I finally, reluctantly started going into the doctor. Doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. They misdiagnosed me 5 times, telling me you have allergies, you have a rare onset of adult asthma. So they gave me tons of inhalers, tons of medications. Nothing worked. Jamie and I thought it was our home. We checked for mold, radon, allergens, anything. I remember he tore out our entire bathroom, and because we found a little bit of mold in our bathroom, and so he tore out half of our bathroom, repainted it. That didn't work. I just kept coughing and getting worse. So we assumed it was Oregon. We thought, okay, maybe I just got developed a weird allergy to Oregon somehow. I don't know. I've been here for 26 years. I don't know. So we almost were this close to selling our pets, selling our home, and actually moving to Texas because we thought it was the Northwest that was making me sick. I had a lot of evenings where I was literally just up for 8 hours straight, coughing, throwing up, crying, praying, wondering what is wrong with me. My abs were so sore because I was coughing on and off for 6 months before I even knew what was wrong with me. I couldn't keep anything down. I didn't have any appetite. And I just remember there became a point where I literally just had to pull up my Bible every night, and I was just praying, what is wrong with me? Asking God for an answer, because I didn't know, the doctors didn't know. My family, coworkers, and friends were all so worried about me. I'm a nurse. I was still working 12-hour days, 3 days a week, when I was this sick. I don't know how I managed that. Eventually, we were pretty sure it was cancer in my lungs. I thought I was gonna die. I wasn't recognizable. And then we knew I was really sick when I stopped craving coffee, when I stopped drinking coffee. That was okay, I'm really sick because I love coffee. I kind of felt like I was getting Alzheimer's, and because I couldn't remember anything, I could hardly remember what I did that day. My mind was completely gone. You asked me a question I didn't know the answer to. Jamie, when I was actually writing this, Jamie had to help me, just to help remind me what my year was really like. So I'm doing my best to remember, but I don't remember a lot of last year. And before I even got sick, I was in some of the best shape of my life. I was working out, eating really healthy. I was climbing the ladder at my work, and I was just pursuing my goals in life. And then all of a sudden, I just got sick. Easter weekend last year, so about a year ago now, I guess, we were planning on telling my family we were pregnant. Hold on. And we were extremely excited. But 2 days before our announcement, I miscarried. It was just really heartbreaking. I made Easter baskets for my parents just to announce on Easter, oh, hey, you're gonna be grandparents. And Easter Day, I just remember having to fold up everything, fold up all the onesies, everything, and put them away. I was so mad at God. Here I was, I'm sick, I don't know what's wrong with me, and now he took away my baby. And my whole life, I've been a Christian. I've thought, okay, I'm serving God, and yet he's still doing this to me, and I don't know why. 2 weeks after my miscarriage, my world forever changed. I woke up in the middle of the night, unable to breathe. I was drenched in sweat, and I was in sheer panic. Reluctantly on my end, Jamie rushed me to the emergency room. My heart rate was so high, it was in the 150s. They thought I was either having a heart attack or through a blood clot to my lung. Tuberculosis was not on their radar, nor mine. After they ran several tests and I'd been poked and prodded, they came into my room and were like, Aubrey, we don't know what's wrong with you. You're really sick. And walked out. It was the most heartless way of telling somebody that they're sick. She didn't say, I'm sorry. She didn't say, I'm gonna be here for you. She just said it so abruptly. And I'm a nurse, and I would never treat my patient like that. And so, of course, I was so extremely terrified. That's when I thought, like, my life is over. It's cancer. I'm gonna die. I was like preparing to say my goodbyes. What am I gonna say to my family and friends? Thankfully, a few hours later, a pulmonologist came onto my case and suspected 3 things: tuberculosis, cystic fibrosis, or a rare fungal disease. I've never been at a point in my life where I've been praying it was tuberculosis, but we prayed for several hours just wanting it to be TB, because at least that was curable. The other 2 we had known nothing about. Cystic fibrosis isn't curable, and then this rare fungal disease, they weren't sure how to treat it if it was that. Thankfully, I was discharged from the hospital the next day, and the doctor's like, hey, we're just gonna call you, let you know what your diagnosis is. Those next 24 hours were sheer anxiety, but the doctor confirmed it was TB. And there was like a small moment of relief, like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, I have TB. And you know, my husband and I laugh about it now, like, why, like, praying for a disease, but we were just relieved that I wasn't dying. But what I didn't know was like how hard the recovery was gonna be. So the way TB works is the county that you live in manages your disease. So the next week they came in, consulted on my case, and I was on 4 different antibiotics and multiple doses of anxiety medication and multiple antidepressants and multiple vitamins. I was taking 25 pills a day. The antibiotics were the worst. I already couldn't breathe, and one of the side effects are like heightened senses, so everything became louder, brighter. My heart would beat faster taking them, and hence that's why I was on the anxiety medication, because the medication itself was giving me anxiety. And I would just have like these horrible anxiety attacks where like Jamie would have to turn off every light in our house, and I would have to have silence for like an hour until my medication kicked in and I felt like I could breathe again. It was horrible. I was on isolation for 8 weeks in my home. Tuberculosis is extremely, extremely contagious. So every day, the county would come to my door and give me my medication. They'd have to wear a mask. Anyone entering my house who I hadn't already exposed had to wear a mask. I couldn't go anywhere. I lost all my independence. And I really felt like a petri dish, like a walking petri dish. Like having that, just like that, taken away from like your cleanliness, taken away from you, and feeling like that, feeling like, oh, you have to wear a mask if you're around me, you can't hug me if you're around me. Horrible. Also, the medication is so hard on your system that I'd have to get monthly blood draws just to make sure that it wasn't making me blind or killing my liver, because the medication is so hard on your system. Not only that, but I couldn't even get off my couch without passing out. My fatigue was so severe that I became totally dependent on my family. I was 25 at the time, and my husband is 28, and he became my caretaker, my full-time caretaker. I had a lot of time alone and a lot of time to think. My reality made me feel so terrified of what's going to happen. I mean, I didn't know how I was literally going to make it till bedtime that night. And so just thinking that I had to go through this for X amount of months was terrifying. I wanted to be able to take care of myself. I wanted to be able to get dressed without needing help. I wanted to be able to shower without needing help. Every night, Jamie would bring me my toothbrush and my toothpaste just so I could brush my teeth in bed, because I couldn't stand there for 5 minutes just to get ready for bed. And looking back, I realized I had the world at my fingertips, and now everything was taken away from me. There were weeks in my life where all I did was cry. I wanted so badly to be healed. I was so mad at God. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you giving me this reality? I felt like I'd already gone through enough going through a miscarriage and then tuberculosis too. I was angry. I stopped trusting God. I stopped relying on Him. I just avoided Him. How could I love a God who would allow me to feel like this? That's how I felt. But that didn't help. I was at rock bottom, so I couldn't get any lower than where I was at. I had to eventually turn to God, because once I stopped, it got worse. It was either life or death, and I was already fighting for my life, so the only way I could choose was towards God. And I'm guilty of this. I think, I've been through hard things in my life, but I've never been through anything like this. And so I got really comfortable trusting God. And I was trusting God when things were good. I've had a very blessed life, and I've never fathomed going through anything like this. But I think, we're human, and we do that. We get comfortable with trusting God when things are good. We don't trust Him when things are bad. If you're not familiar with tuberculosis, it's a super rare lung infection that's been eradicated from the US. It's extremely contagious, but chances of it making you sick are less than 0.5%. Only 49 people in Oregon were diagnosed in 2017 out of 4 million residents in Oregon. Less than half of those people were under the age of 30. I really, really struggled with the statistic for a long time. Because prior to getting sick, I was in the best shape of my life. And now, I'm not. I'm trapped in a body that does not belong to me. I'm still living with the repercussions of this disease. I was diagnosed, I think, a year ago today, actually. Now that today's the 13th. Yeah, I think a year ago today I was told I had TB. And I'm still not myself. I'm still not 100%. I still question God, why am I still like this? Why is this still happening to me? I've lived this nightmare for 12 months. Why can't life be normal again? Why can't I go work out and run and, do the things that I want to do? Why? Now I have the energy of somebody triple my age. I'm getting better, but I'm still really tired. 4 months ago, I actually spoke at Pleasant Valley Church, and I was still like so lost at that time when I spoke and told my story to them. I had to quit my job, and I had been looking for a job for 6-7 months because bedside nursing is too hard to deal with because my energy still isn't great. So I didn't have a job when I spoke, but now I really feel like God's been starting to bless me and tell me why He's doing this. A month ago, I got a new job at a Providence clinic, and my passion in life are children, and I finally get to work with kids. It took 6 months of me being on light duty work to finally found a job that I felt like I could do and love. And I know, like, I question God and I'm still mad at Him, but I'm really like looking back, I realized why He was doing this to me, why it took so long for me to find a job that I could do. There were certain instances at the clinic that I'm at now that I couldn't have started when I wanted, and I started in God's timing, and I'm really, really grateful that not everything happens in my timing, but everything happens in God's timing. My energy reserves are pretty low, like I said. I lost about 30% of my lung volume in my right lung. They're really badly scarred from the bacteria. But I have improved so much. I'm off every single medication. I never want to take another medication in my life again. But I still ask God, what have you done to me? I can think of all the negatives that this life, or that this diagnosis has brought to my life. I can't run, I can't work 12-hour days, I can't lift anything heavy because a lot of my muscle mass is gone. I can't hike, something that I love to do. I can't do a lot. But then, like on my good days, I have to ask, okay, what good is that going to bring? What good is being negative about this disease going to do for me? Nothing. Instead of asking God what He's doing to me, I need to ask God, what are you doing for me? Through all the struggles in life, God brings something beautiful. Life cannot be perfect. If it was, we couldn't depend on God. As Easter weekend approaches, I ask you guys to look at your life and see what beauty God has brought out of your darkness. Thousands of years ago, God did the impossible. He brought life out of death. So why do we question His motives towards us and His ability to do great things? Whatever you're going through in your life, I challenge you to ask God what He's doing for you. Lost job? God is probably opening another career opportunity for you. I know that more than anybody. Severe diagnosis? He's giving you a story to help others through their life. Divorce? God probably has somebody in store for you that will help you draw yourself closer to Him. Miscarriage? I'm still really working on that one, but I know that I was in no shape to carry a baby for 9 months. The medication causes severe birth defects, and just in a weird way, I'm grateful that I didn't have to go through that. These are just a few examples of God's light He brings upon us. Not only have I learned what people are truly there for me in times of crisis, but I've been given a new appreciation for life. I can now take care of myself. I have taken for granted being able to care for myself, being able to walk, being able to shower, being able to brush my teeth without assistance, being able to cook, even being able to clean. Like once I could start cleaning my house again, I was really happy. But I can be a daughter, sister, friend, and wife again. I can care for those around me who so willingly cared for me in my darkest days. I used to be so nitpicky. I constantly needed to be on time, constantly needed to have my house clean, like everything had to be perfect. But now I don't sweat that stuff anymore. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I can empathize with my patients. I can help them through their hard times. I've learned what a marriage truly means. When my husband and I vowed to be there for in sickness and in health, we truly meant it, but we didn't know when we got married 4 years ago what we were going to go through. God has shown himself to me through my family and my friends. My house was never without flowers, my fridge was fully stocked, and my house was always clean. All thanks to my parents, in-laws, and friends. My father-in-law even came to my house every morning to help take care of me while my husband went to work. And he always brought me Jamba Juice or a Starbucks in hand. And he didn't care that I was in isolation or if he got sick. He just wanted to be there for me and help me. I have always been told not to be public with my story. But the whole time I was going through this, I wished I knew there was somebody that could empathize with me. Nobody really knew what it was like to go through this disease. And I didn't want anybody to feel like they were alone in something. Because going through something hard is very isolating. It is very isolating. And TV also just has like such a big stigma. Like, it's one of the worst things to get. You want to stay away from it. You want to avoid it when you go to third world countries. And it sucks. It does. But I don't want anybody to feel alone. And I can't help but think that God has given me a story to inspire others. Really, it's been therapeutic for me to talk about my story and feel like I can help others through hard times in their life. If I kept this whole thing a secret, I probably would have gone crazy. And I want people to have a blessing out of this and not take their life for granted. And I'm oddly grateful that, if it had to happen to somebody, it happened to me. I was healthy at the time, and if it happened to somebody else that wasn't in the best health, it could have killed them. And yet, there are still days where I am so mad at God that this is my reality. But then I have to remember to take a deep breath and ask God, what are you doing for me? If you know me, you know I'm not a very patient person. I like immediate results, and it's extremely difficult for me to wait. But the longer I wait, the more I realize the more doors are opening for my future. My family constantly reminds me that my timing is not God's timing. I remember once I finally could get off my couch without passing out, I went outside for the first time, and this was such a little victory. I think my husband and I walked to my mailbox and back, and then I got to the door, and he had to carry me through the door, and he had to carry me to the couch, and I passed out, and I slept for 2 hours. But now I see where I'm at now, and I can stand up here for 20 minutes, and I'm okay. And as I began to heal, my need for wanting to do more constantly grew. And I think that was the hard thing, where my mind came back faster than what my body came back. So I'd feel oh, I'm gonna do the dishes. I feel great enough to do the dishes, and I'd walk to the kitchen and be okay, I can't do the dishes. And so, but I wanted to so badly. So I kind of felt like I was a prisoner in my own home because I wanted all these things to be done, but I couldn't do them. But then I could walk 200 feet, and then I could walk 400 feet. And then in January, my husband took me to Canada for my birthday, and I was able to walk around for 4 hours at a time without passing out. And that was a huge victory. I think like when him and I got home, we almost started crying just because not being able to walk and then finally being able to walk was incredible. And ever since then, it just kind of has felt like that gave me the motivation to continue to work harder so that I could go further. I can walk. I can breathe. I can eat food and drink coffee again. You guys don't know how good that feels to say. I can laugh and not get short of breath anymore. I can forget about my past and look towards a future that is good. I can find beauty in unexpected places. And I can see an end in sight to this. I can do a lot. I also have a lot of knowledge of really good TV shows because I was on my couch for so long, so if you guys need some advice on that, hit me up after this. I want you all to think about a trial in your life. Are you in the depth of it? Is it just starting? Or is it finally coming to an end? Regardless where you're at, I promise it'll get better. It may take weeks, months, or years, but it will be okay. I know it sounds cliche, and you may have heard it a million times, but life goes on, and God's plan continues to unfold for your life. 2 Corinthians says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." If that wasn't the case, I would not be up here telling you my story. My future is still so uncertain. I am unfortunately unable to return to bedside nursing for now, but I know that this disease has created new opportunities for growth in my life. I still question why me, why me, why me? Why did this horrible, rare disease happen to me? I'm young, so I should be healthy. I should have never struggled with something like this in the first place. None of my friends did, so why did I? Even though I had all the support in the world, I still had never felt so lonely in my life. My life plans have been put on hold for over a year because of something that was not my fault. I have now been forced to be patient for almost 2 years, but I realize now that God has a different agenda for my life. I still struggle with trusting God on the bad days, but if I compare myself to where I was a year ago, I can tell you that He is good. I can tell you that your relationship with God is okay to be perfectly imperfect. I can tell you He brings light into darkness. I can tell you that pain and heartache is temporary. My best advice is for you to not focus on the uncertainties in life, but to embrace the opportunities that God has presented to you, good or bad. I ask that you not take the smallest things for life for granted because you don't know when they're going to be taken from you. I challenge you to trust God when your life feels like it's falling apart. I challenge you to ask God what He's doing for you.